What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
I didn't send you a photo. I bought the Red Bull Lego and I made it.
I saw you building it the other day in that.
So they're like this.
Yeah, that's nice. But you kind of have it like my.
Yeah. Well, the best is like I said the other day, they all come with hair, and I don't get why. Like I put the helmet on when they're in the car, but funny enough, the Red Bull one is like Liam's hair. It's exactly what it looks like.
The Red Bull one is like Liam's hair. Oh, yeah.
It's like blonde and spiky.
That is unfortunate timing.
Yeah. Very unfortunate timing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 101.
101.
101 Dalmatians.
That was so random. That was so random.
Of the Underground Circuit podcast. As always, my name is Owen. That is my sister Casey. If you are new here, if you're a new friend listening to the show, thank you for tuning in to our wonderful, but sometimes very lengthy, sometimes very random podcast.
Last week was long.
Last week's was long. I actually talked to somebody who was a new listener last week, and they said that the first episode they listened to was last week's episode, and I was like, that's a really long one.
You need like on 2 times, like we just sound like we're chipmunks without.
Because like it was like an hour 45, and even if you listen to it on like 1.5 times speed, which is what I listen to my podcast on, you're still getting an hour 15 real time listening to that. Like,
and it's not like how like the big podcasts have like 2-minute commercial breaks sometimes throughout where you can skip through.
We're just fucking yapping the whole time.
We're straight talking.
We're straight talking the whole time.
We'll keep it short today. Well,
not short, we'll try to keep it a little bit short. We're gonna try a new thing today because obviously it was an F1 weekend as well as an IndyCar weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna try to split the episode a little bit in half, and that's gonna be the first half of the episode is gonna be recapping China, and the second half of the episode will be recapping IndyCar at Thermal. So we're going to go with that. I'll say it up front, I did not watch the IndyCar race, did not have the time to. I watched the highlights, so I get the key points, but Casey would probably be driving that conversation a lot because she did watch the race. But as always, we will start it off with our meme of the weeks. Casey.
Meme of the week.
You want to go first?
Yeah, it's also kind of a little... I didn't choose this picture for news purposes of what just happened, what's going to be announced, but
yes,
it's the famous meme of LiamLawson waking up in the middle of the night. I don't know what it was actually on, but he just explained this picture and this meme, and at first he's like, "Wait, is that me?" And they're like, "Yes, it's you." And he said he explained it for the first time. This is literally not why I chose the meme, but he's like, I never like go out and party and stuff because of the F1 schedules. He goes, I was home, and he goes, I had time. So he goes, I went out with my friend, and he goes, and that was me waking up the next morning.
So he's hurting. He's hurting in this.
Yeah. But this is what I basically look like waking up Sunday morning after falling asleep post-race to the disqualification of Charles, Lewis, and Pierre. This was literally the face I made, and then I laid back down and was like, do I just go back to sleep? But yeah. That was my meme of the week. It was too perfect because I literally rolled over to check the time, and I was like, "No,
that was when you had." So I did the same thing. I fell back asleep after the race.
Yeah, and I texted you.
You texted me, and it was the first thing I saw on my phone, and it was literally like, I think your text was like, "When I tell you I rolled over to check the time, my jaw dropped." And
I was like,
"What the fuck is she talking about? Like, what is she? I have no idea what she's referring to here." Then I like open up Threads, and it's the first thing that pops up is the disqualifications, and I'm like, oh, I was like, I get it now.
Yeah, I literally texted you when I tell you I rolled over to check the time and my jaw dropped. You said, oh, well, what do you mean?
Yeah, I was so confused. I'm like, what the hell is she talking about?
I was a little upset.
But it makes a lot more sense. Yes, but yeah.
Your meme of the week.
What a weekend. Yeah.
What a weekend.
Yes, my meme of the week. I thought this was hilarious. It's just like, it's so true. So if you watch the race, I'll try to explain this for our audio only listeners. If you watch the race, there was a shot after Oscar had crossed the start finish line of this Chinese girl crying, just bawling her eyes out because Oscar had won. Right, totally understandable. I respect it. I respect it. But you now have this meme that's been made, and it says fans' reaction to Oscar's win, and it's her crying. And then there's Oscar's reaction to Oscar's win, and it's him on the podium with quite possibly the straightest of faces. And he's just like, yep, just like another Sunday for me.
He's stone cold killer.
Yeah. So it's just funny how he is just straight up, he shows no emotion. Even in his radio message, they were like celebrating in the radio message, and he was like, yeah, guys, lovely weekend. Thanks. All right, cool. Do it again. Like, that's all it was.
I feel like he does have a hint of a smile when he first, like, before he moves his mouth. But I also love her McLaren hat in there, like the orange on orange.
Yeah, it's nice.
She was wearing
my whole desk.
I know I've seen a lot of people talking about that, and people are like, Oscar doesn't have emotions, doesn't have a personality. He is just hilarious, but like he has the best dry sense of humor.
His personality is his dry sense of humor. Yeah. His personality is his monotonous. He is straight business. He has fun. Like in the videos that McLaren posts of like him and Lando doing stupid stuff together, like he's laughing, he's smiling, he's having a great time with it. But in the race, like race weekend, he is all serious.
Yeah, he's all business. I saw it today because there was a lot of talk about that today, like how Oscar is when he wins or does well. And someone posted a video. I don't know if it was him, Max, and Lando on the couch like post-race last season, but he like moves the microphone and his cord knocks over like his drink, like the can, and it spills, and he's like, first of all, moves so slow to pick it up, and he's like, oh no, I've had a moment. Or he's like, I've caused the scene.
Oh no, like, I've had a moment.
Dead serious. Oh no, I've caused the scene. Like, it's so funny. I mean, when your mom and sisters are iconic, and you gotta have a different kind of humor than them.
That's where all of his energy goes. It's probably handling like dealing with his mom and his sister. Like
no, sisters. We don't ever see the one. He has 3
or
sisters.
Sister. Yeah, even more to my point. But yes, good win for Oscar. But yeah, Mr. Stone Cold Killer himself, not amused on the podium.
Not amused. Okay. Pints and Pit Stops. Whoa!
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Come on, we're skipping over the one part of this podcast that people listen to.
True. Literally, it's the beginning. They do listen to this part. Weekly news, as always, brought to you by IPF1 Store.com. He posted some beautiful things today. He has new prints coming out with with the tracks and stuff. They look really, really, really nice.
Every time I go to look at his website, every time we talk about it, and I'm always just like, yeah, I'm ordering something.
Yeah, well, now you can show it off behind you.
I now can show it off behind me. You're right.
But yes, as always, use the code Underground 10 to get 10% off your entire purchase. Weekly news. There really has not been much. Are you looking at them?
Yeah.
There's really not been much. This is also not completely set in stone or fully announced, but it's pretty much, I feel like, a done deal.
It feels like it's a done deal.
Yeah, I feel like it's a done deal. There are strong rumors that Yuki will be replacing Liam in the Red Bull at the Japan Grand Prix, and Liam will go to the Racing Bulls. It doesn't say if it's from Japan on or if it's just for Japan. Maybe give Liam time to go back and get used, get back in that car that he may know, get his confidence back up. I am all over the place with this. I am so happy for Yuki because he gets to make his Red Bull debut at home.
Yes.
In front of the home crowd. Then again, our friend David that's come to watch parties and stuff, he said this to me the other day when I posted what people thought about it, and he made a lot of sense. This might be the track that Liam is the most comfortable with because of Super Formula. He's raced on it plenty of times.
Yeah. Oh, so that's a great point. Yeah.
So they literally took him out. They're taking him out of the Red Bull in probably a track that he could drive with his eyes closed.
Right. And be better at least.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I mean, everyone's like, they've only given Liam 2 races. Yes, 2 races in the RB21, but Liam has had maybe 10 races over the past year, 2
Yeah.
years. And it wasn't like he was wiping the floor clean with Yuki.
No.
So I'm just all over the place with it. I don't know don't know how to feel. I mean, Liam hasn't really shown us anything, but
all right. So I was really thinking about this because when you had texted me saying that like it's most likely going to happen, I really started thinking about this. There's 2 sides to me on this. There's the personal side that is happy for Yuki and sad for Liam if it's true. These are, regardless of who it is, these are people who train and spend their entire lives working to get to one position. And people in the Red Bull Academy, Red Bull farm system, whatever you want to refer to it as, their dream is to drive a Red Bull. That's what it is. So for Yuki to finally get to that point, that's great. I love it. I'm so happy for him. Thrilled. For Liam, I'm devastated for him if it is true because he had his chance and so far he hasn't done anything with it.
Yeah.
There's the then logical side of me, and I'm hoping that this makes sense to people because I don't know, but I think it will. Red Bull already saw what happened last year when they had only one driver working for them. And they are not going – we've seen this story play out already. Red Bull is not going to do it again. Red Bull is not going to leave it to chance that, oh, maybe he turns around. Oh, maybe he gets better. You know, and put it this way too. Last year, Checo always starts off the season pretty hot, pretty well.
And then dies down.
Checo was scoring points and everything. Liam hasn't yet. So it's, in a sense, he's in a worse off spot than Checo was at this point last year. Again, it's only been 2 races, but if this were last year, I would 100% be like, we're jumping the gun, give Liam a chance. It's only been 2 races. But we've seen this story play out. We have seen what happens when Red Bull only has one person contending for points throughout the entire season, and that's they don't win the Constructors' Champs. They fall down out of the podium of the Constructors' Champs, and their driver, the story becomes, can their driver hold on to, Drivers' Champs and everything? And let's face it, Red Bull is not the dominant car this year.
No, and it's clear, like we've seen before, like Will Buxton and Drives 5 said last year, Max was the reason they won that championship. I don't think Max can do it on his own this year to pull that car across the.
No, I don't think he can. The car is not good enough.
No. For
Max to, I'll call it, max it to victory, to drive it as Max would to victory. It's not good enough. To me,
no.
That goes back to the whole Adrian Newey thing, but that's a whole other can of worms. But regardless.
Part of me also thinks, like, in Australia, we saw Max on the podium because it was the rain. That man is insane in the rain.
That man loves the rain.
Like, if when
he was a kid, he would go out in the rain while kids went in.
Yeah.
It's
like it makes me think because we saw we didn't see him on the podium this weekend and conditions were pretty good. So if Australia there was no rain and it was dry race, would we have seen him on the podium?
Right.
Part of me thinks no.
I don't think so either.
No.
So that's where I'm at with the whole Liam and Yuki thing. I think from a logical business and championship standpoint for Red Bull, it makes sense to maybe make this move. Like I said, they know how this story goes. They need to do something differently to change the outcome, and they are. If this is true, this is nothing confirmed. We're just speculating right now. Knowing our luck, it'll break tonight.
No, that's what I posted. I said we are 100% waking up to a breaking news graphic tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's giving me the teasing of Lewis to Ferrari because it's breaking at the same time.
Yeah.
But okay, the only thing is with this, after the race, I think Autosport and Motorsport posted articles about it. They flat out asked Christian Horner on the TV, I think post-race broadcast, being like, are you switching him? And he didn't really deny the rumors.
I saw that clip, yeah. I mean, Horner got put on the spot in that moment.
Yeah, he did.
And to have that direct of a question is, I don't want to say rare for like post-race interviews, but everyone always kind of like beats around the bush when they're asking those questions. For it to literally just be like, "Are you swapping him?" Like,
Yeah.
But
I will read this because Motorsport posted this article like 20 minutes before we started recording. So in it, it says Tsuonda, 24, is backed financially by Red Bull's engine suppliers Honda after graduating from the Japanese company Racing School in 2016. His promotion to the Red Bull main team would be a huge boost to Honda, especially coming in the company's home race at Suzuka next week, and could trigger some financial ramifications. So going back to what you said, there's also there could be money coming in that they're not bringing in anymore because Checo's not on the team to Red Bull with putting Yuki in that seat.
There's a huge other factor here outside just racing performance.
And it's making me, and it's also like Honda's on the way out. They're like halfway out, Ford is halfway in. It's just like the last like thank you for working with us for the past few years to Honda and putting Yuki in that seat. But all I know is I hope Yuki flippins. I hope if it is our chance to see Yuki on the podium, I will be sitting on that couch at 3 a.m. when the race is over, jumping up and down.
Yeah, this is where I get like scared.
Yeah.
Because it's like, sure, I'm happy that Yuki might be filling in, but then it's like, at what point does the curse just shift over to Yuki? You know?
Yeah.
Like,
and the curse is real. The curse is 100% real. Well, there's this talk now coming out. I don't know what the truth is to it, but apparently Checo last year, when he got word that they may be putting Yuki in that seat, was protecting Yuki from the toxic environment at Red Bull in that side of the garage with that second seat. Like, he did not want Yuki to be put into that
interesting.
seat. Yeah, very interesting. And then, oh shit. Oh, so I posted this clip today. It has resurfaced. It's an old interview with Alex Albon. You can tell because his hair is like faded blonde.
I've seen this all over.
Yeah, it's resurfaced just this weekend. But I think at the end of last season too with Checo, it also resurfaced. It is great insight into Alex is explaining what it's like to be Max's teammate, his driving style, and why the Red Bull car is fitted more towards Max's driving style, and why people in the second seat struggle some because it's so. Alex, I'll make it quick. Alex basically says like he talks about it like playing computer video games, like upping the what's it called, like the feedback or the sensitivity. Yeah, and he's like Max has it all the way up.
Yep.
He was like he wants that car on nails. He goes, so for the people that aren't used to it, someone in the second seat, like if they it's all the way up, like one wrong move, yeah, they're crashing, and then their confidence is down. Then they have to rebuild to get back up.
Yeah.
So, Yuki has had testing in the RB21, so I do have a maybe we can get it'll be okay. Yeah, but I'm nervous and excited for him if it's true. But
yeah, even if it lasts one race, I'm excited to see Yuki in that car for one race. I'm excited to see that happen for him, especially if it's his home race.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Japanese crowd loves him anyway. Like, it hit the past however many years he's been in F1, but him in the big seat, it'll be huge. But
it'll be great. Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, that's really the only piece of, I think, weekly news that's really been newsworthy. Besides the disqualifications, but we'll get to that in the Yeah. I don't think there was really anything IndyCar wise, which we'll also talk about because I do want to talk about how the TV just cut out in the middle of it. But
yeah, just fucking dropped.
Yeah, just dropped. They made us watch NASCAR for about 15 laps. But yes, Pints and Pit Stops. Now time for Pints and Pit Stops.
Now it's time for Pints and Pit Stops.
Owen doesn't have a pint. I'm drinking Olipop. This one's so good though. The vintage.
Vintage cola. Isn't that the one Tasia recommended to you?
The Tasia's recommended them all, but vintage cola. I don't love soda, but sometimes you just crave a Diet Coke or a Pepsi.
Yeah.
This is literally it, but it's not a soda. It's not a soda.
That's nice.
And this one actually has fiber. Every single one has. This one has 6 grams of fiber. It's only 35 calories. So, but yes, Pints and Pit Stops. That was my pint for today. So yes, if you're new here, I'm gonna ask Owen 5 questions. We're timing him while we ask the questions. If he gets one wrong, I add a second. If he gets one right, I take a second off. These are all about the Chinese Grand Prix. I think you'll be fine. But yes, I will start the timer after I'm done reading the first question. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure. I'm so nervous. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we said this first one, so you should remember. What position did Ocon end in?
P9.
Who had the fastest pit stop?
Pass.
Why did Alonso retire?
Brakes were on fire.
How many laps did Stroll go on the hards for?
34.
Who spun off and into the gravel around the start?
Gabriel Bortoleto.
Eat a bit.
Yeah, that was bad. I could feel it in my bones that was bad.
You said, first of all, you said Stroll's position in the end, not Ocon's. Because we did mention both.
Damn it, yeah.
Okay, so your time right now is 23:30.
I'm going 27:30 is my final time.
What position did Ocon end in? He was 5th, so you're 24.
Damn it.
Who had the fastest pit stop was the highlight of the weekend? Ferrari, again, 2 weekends in a row. 25. Why did Alonso's retire brake issue or brake on fire? So you're back on the 24. How many laps did Stroll go on for the hards? You said 34.
It's fucking like 35, isn't it?
It's 35.
That's fucking I hate that. I hate that.
So you're back on the 25, and then who spun off into the gravel around the start? You got that right, Bortoleto. So you're at 24:30.
All right, I only gained a second. That's not bad.
Yes, that was Pints and Pit Stops. Race recap time.
Race recap. All right.
Not to do planning on the show for the show. Do you want me to start a timer?
Yes.
Or stopwatch for
yes.
Okay.
Start a timer. Start a timer for us.
Timer
so at least we have something to keep track.
Stopwatch. I'll do.
I'm just gonna knock 2 teams out of the way real fast.
Well, wait, you didn't say this is our race recap.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. This is brought to you by our friends over at Furious Motorsports. If you guys are a part of our fantasy league, and you're competing this year, following along with all the races and all the points that everybody scores and everything, keep in mind, if you are the winner, you get a free jersey of your size and choice.
Your choice, yeah.
From Furious Motorsports. We talked to them about doing this giveaway. We're super excited to do it with them. So it gives a little bit more incentive too for the season as well, to keep along and keep up to date with the race weekends and whatnot. So it makes it really fun. We're very excited to be doing this with them. So yeah, we're thrilled. If you want to get jerseys now, though, if you don't want to wait until the end of the season, I don't blame you. They're really cool.
I don't blame you either.
Yeah, you can use our code. It is Underground10 for 10% off a jersey. Or, and this is the way that we recommend, if you go to the link in our bio, there's a link tree there. If you follow that to their website, the discount code will automatically be applied for you. So you don't have to think about it. You don't got to enter anything. You just go, you shop, you check out, you get your jersey, 10% off. I love my jersey. Casey knows that. It's so nice. I wear my Lando Norris jersey to work sometimes. Like every Friday I'll wear it to work. And I think for like every Friday that I've worn it, somebody has complimented it. Somebody has said, that's super nice. The one guy asked me one time, is that a hockey team? I said, no, it's Formula One. He was like, oh, that's so cool. And we talked about it a little bit. So love them. Love the jerseys. We're super excited to be working with them. But yeah, like I said, Underground 10 is the code, and we recommend the link in our bio on our social media. Follow that link tree. Go to the website. Codes automatically apply for you.
It is much easier to like.
Yeah.
A little bit of a personal F1 fantasy update. I feel like we should do the 4 of us, me, you, mom, and dad. Each week we should give updates because our parents are playing this year in the league with us.
Our parents
out of the
are
4
in
of
it.
us, I am dead last.
Are you dead? Wait, hold on. Are you dead last in the league, or are you dead last?
Almost.
Casey, what are we doing here?
Then we have Mom, I think, is next. I think it's you. And our father, by a ton, is first, technically, within the four of us on the league. So, yeah, there's that. What are you looking at? Are you looking at the leaderboard?
I'm trying to pull it up. See if I can't find him. See where he's sitting at right now.
He's Nigel Gearsley. He's the cars guy.
Nigel Gearsley?
Mm-hmm. That's his picture when we do the live stream and it comes up with like the cars person.
Oh, scrolling. So I need to scroll through all these names. There's a team named currently in 35th, Lando Norrian.
Yeah.
Fuck with that.
Wait, I think that's like 40 something.
Nigel Gearsley is 40th.
Yeah. He's in the top 100.
That is insane.
But yeah.
All right.
So yeah, that's our personal. But yes, starting now, some China recap. Who are you knocking off from the start?
Real fast, I am just gonna quickly knock off Steak and Alpine. Both kind of weekends. Didn't really do much. Pierre Gasly obviously gets disqualified for skid board underneath the car. And Gabriel Bortoleto spins out in the first lap of the race. That's all I can tell you about Steak's race.
Well, it was like a battle for the end with the two of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, and Pierre's disqualification, everyone keeps forgetting he was already out of the points, so it really didn't matter. Like he wasn't in the points.
Yeah.
So, it's not like Ferrari. But yeah, nothing really else to say. No, Bloomsburg, do not call me to ask for money. I know that's why you're calling me.
Yes. Jumping to Haas.
Yeah, why not?
I have a couple notes for them. Ollie Behrman, man, he loved turn 14.
Mm-hmm.
He had 3 different overtakes in turn 14, all using the same move, going outside to inside. And both teammates after the disqualification were in the points. So it's a great weekend for Haas. I'm going to make you say this because it's the funniest fucking thing that we have written down. What is Esteban Ocon?
Esteban Ocon is the highest in the World Drivers' Championship. Esteban Ocon is the highest driver out of the top 20 in a Ferrari-powered car. So that's thinking.
Love to see it.
Yeah, it's awful. But I also want to talk about Ollie. I asked after the race, I did it before last season, I'm doing it again, like, who is your driver of the day? Ollie, a lot of people picked Ollie. I think
I can see that.
He had an insane race. The turnaround from last week, that's why you know Australia was just a one-off. Completely a one-off, because that was Ollie's true form that we saw out there on track.
Yep.
That is what we know. That is what everyone was excited to see from him. But yeah, I mean, Haas, they might be top of the midfield.
You know what? I'll say this. I believed when we did our 2025 predictions, we talked about Haas a little bit, and I think we both said that they were going to do better than we thought because of it was their second year under AO, and it's just like you could kind of tell that was working for them last year.
Yeah.
They were making the right moves, so that we were excited to see it happen again this year.
And
I'll be very thrilled if our prediction is perfectly correct for them.
Yeah, I could also maybe seeing how it's like it's only the top 4 and then it's like Aston Martin's like hanging out there. Like I don't think we see Haas fight with Alpine like they did last year. I think we see Haas fight with Aston for 5th maybe.
I can see it.
I think we might see it. Also, we need to mention that with Ocon placing in the points in 5th before the disqualification 6th, it still counts. Laura Mueller, his race engineer, is the first woman race engineer to score in the points for Formula 1.
Hey,
what was supposed? Yeah. So it is nice to hear like over the radio when it like his radio pops up, like you're not getting a man's voice. So you're just like, oh, let me just wait and listen. But yeah, excited for Haas. Williams, just go up the list.
Yeah.
Williams. Carlos is definitely struggling still, 100%.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna sound like kind of hypocritical with this when it comes to like talking about it, but like I think Carlos needs a little bit more time in the car. It's only been 2 races. As weird as that is, again, as hypocritical as it sounds.
And one was in the rain, and he crashed under a safety car. Like,
right. It's definitely he needs more time in the car. But I do think there's potential there because we're seeing good results out of Alex. We're seeing great results out of Alex right now. So if Carlos can figure it out, Williams might be a dangerous team this year. I don't think fighting for podiums. No, I think they'll fight for podiums race phase. I don't think they'll fight for podiums like constructors champs wise is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I think
maybe it's them and Haas for the top of the midfield.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking it's Williams and Haas, maybe kind of that tight battle that's throughout the season.
Williams posted today for Alex. So last season altogether, he scored 12 points. After 2 races this season, he's already at 16.
Yeah, I mean he's having a better.
We're seeing his best form. I feel like truly.
Yeah.
At the moment, and I don't know. Is it maybe like he's flying under he's been low key flying under the radar because of all the hype of Carlos going to the team, and he's like, let me just keep my head down and let me just work.
It might be a little bit of like now the pressure is off of him.
True.
He's no longer the better driver if you want to go by statistics.
And quote unquote, he's not the vet on the team, unfortunately.
Right.
Carlos is the older one. He has a little bit more experience.
Right.
Yeah,
so
true.
It might be a thing of, oh, I'm not in that spotlight anymore. Okay, awesome. Now I can perform.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm excited for Williams. Especially Alex. We were so close to getting a podium this weekend, I felt like. But
yeah.
From Alex.
I think it'll happen once this year. I think if we, by the graces of the universe, got a double Alpine podium last season,
we can get a Williams.
We can get a Williams podium this year. Yeah,
absolutely. At least one driver on the podium. Yeah, no, I can see it. I do have to say I love this is not race related. Alex had a special helmet for this weekend.
Yes.
He always does in China, and they're always somehow like a love letter to his girlfriend Lily. It's Alex puts it in the caption what it is why and stuff, but I just think they're so cute. But yeah, there were some good special helmets this weekend.
I really like George's. George's was cool.
And he never has a good special helmet.
Yeah.
That one was good.
His was really good. I really enjoyed it.
His was good. Who else? Alex? Maybe it was those two.
George.
You know who I wished had a special helmet this weekend that we missed? That would have been spectacular. Joe Guanyu.
Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. Which they showed him during the national anthem, and I was like, "Oh, good. Joe is out there."
Yeah,
he's never show reserve driver during the national anthem, but good, obviously for Joe. Moving on, we talked about Alpine. V-Carb, I do want to say the first half of the weekend was great. They need to work on that race so bad.
Yeah, they definitely are struggling right now with race pace. I have to wonder if, at least on Isaac's end, it's just again, I feel like I'm a broken record already saying this, but again, it's second race, newbie, rookie driver.
Yeah, but he moved up.
He did good. He did great, but it's still for how fast those cars are, and I'll say this, what we've seen out of them in qualifying so far is not translating to race. So they got to figure something out with that. Yeah. So they're qualifying great. Their qualifying sessions are awesome. They're getting in Q2, getting in Q3. So far they've been in Q3 both times now, all 3 times now, right?
I think so, or at least one of them has been.
Yeah. So
last week and this week.
They're doing great in that aspect, but yeah, the race pace needs to be figured out. But again, I think that might be, at least on Isaac's end, I can't, speak for Yuki, but Isaac right now is still kind of figuring out racing as a Formula One driver.
I'll tell you, when the sprint race started, I held my breath. I was like, please make it through the formation lap. Please make it through the formation lap.
I was very happy that he was able to have a bounce back weekend.
Same.
And he was just able to get through the weekend, no kind of no issues surrounding him. Just I did the weekend, you know.
He had a clean weekend.
Yeah.
Made some good moves. Yeah, I was happy for him. Aston Martin. Should I call up Lance Stroll and see if his back's hurting? Because he's carrying that team right now.
He is carrying the team right now, and it's a weird thing.
No, Alonso has had like weird 2 DNFs in a row.
Yes. Yeah, not the best start of the season for Alonso. The brakes, hearing his brakes were on fire was a shocker to me, at least. But
yeah, well, who was it on the radio first? Was like his
Pierre called it.
His brake. Oh yeah, they were all tattling on each other today.
Yeah, Pierre called it on Alonso, but I think it's a weird start for Alonso. But I gotta give credit where credit's due. Lance Stroll is stepping up and at least still getting them points.
Yeah, it's not like Lance Stroll's just doing whatever. Lance Stroll's also having great races.
Right. He is stepping up and he's being a good driver for the situations that are occurring right now. You know?
Someone posted it. I can't find who posted this stat, but between last week and this week for Fernando, he's only done like 13 laps or something.
Oof.
Yeah, which is wild. He hasn't even done like he hasn't even done like a half of a Grand Prix.
He hasn't even done a sprint race yet.
He hasn't even done a full sprint race.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm happy for Lance. And Lance is doing well, and people's attitudes are slowly changing, I feel like, on social media. I've seen some nice comments about Lance.
I mean, as long as he doesn't have another he ran into me situation.
Yeah.
And I didn't run, like...
Or often and beaching himself on the gravel, trying to turn around and continuing to beach himself. Yeah. No, I'm happy for Lance. And we haven't even seen full Adrian Newey upgrades come from this car yet. If there are going to be any from him. Like, is he
if anything, they're going to be mid-season updates, but yeah, we haven't seen that yet. So
no. Mercedes. As you said, Kimi was driver of the day. That post-race radio when they told him he was driver of the day was adorable.
Yeah, he was so
like, wait, really?
I can imagine that's like on the bucket list of like as being like an F1 driver, but it's like one of those things that it's like, oh, it would be like nice to have. And then like when it happens, you're like, wait, like same thing with him. He's like, what? Are you serious? Like
we are also seeing him on the podium very soon, I'm feeling. He was P6 again. He's just outside the podium for the second week in a row.
It's definitely happening. There's no doubt in my mind that he will be on the podium. I don't think it needs to be like a weird like Williams on the podium thing where it's just like all the stars have to align for it to happen.
No, I don't think it. I think he's gonna have a killer race.
Yes, he needs to have some race where one or two things go wrong and he does everything perfect, and then he's good. But
because it's kind of going against what I said last week and how that car seems to only work when it's cool weather. It was not cool weather.
Nope.
And that car worked perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I want to. When is hold on, sorry. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 races until Monza. Does he get it before Monza or is his Imola? Sorry. Does he get it before Imola or is his first podium Imola? The Italian boy on the Italian podium.
I mean, that would be...
I think he gets it before. But I think
he could get it before, but if he got it in Imola, that city would burn down.
Imagine Kimi and the Ferraris on the podium together.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
Yeah. But yes. George once again 2 podiums in a row. Mercedes posted today that it's their best start since 2021, which really does go to show how awful they've been the past few years. That this is their best start.
Yeah, it's not something that you like want to see them post because it's like, all right, cool, good for you, but also at the same time, it's like, wow, that means the last couple of years have been really shitty for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it's good for George. I think it's a good stat for them to throw out for George because he is now the leader on the team and everything. And it's kind of confidence building and like, okay, like for anyone who was kind of like, oh, I don't think George can do it. Maybe now it's like, oh, maybe he can. You know, maybe like maybe I was speaking too soon. You know, but yeah, definitely a weird. It's like a bittersweet thing to post about.
Yeah,
that.
no,
But
it is weird.
yeah,
I'll take it. George also, I feel like he didn't sneak up onto the podium this time as much as Australia, but the gap between the front three was so big at the end of the race.
yeah.
Like he was just driving in clean air.
He
The
also
only thing that came down at the end was Charles going to get him.
yeah. He also like he had that really good battle with Lando off the start of the race.
Yes, he did.
He went back and forth. He overtook Lando at one point, but I think the McLaren is just a better car than the Mercedes. So Lando was just like when George overtook Lando, commentary was talking about like, oh, that might be a key moment in the race and everything. And part of me in my head, and it might be biased, obviously, but was like, no, like Lando would get him a couple laps, and then there goes Lando down the start finish straight, and he gets him. But
yeah,
no, it definitely wasn't George's normal like I was just in the right place at the right time kind of podium. He's definitely. It feels like he's working more for the podiums, which is good to see. So
yeah, no, I agree. Moving on to Red Bull. I literally have nothing else to say besides I need Charles and Max battles all the time. Those few little laps that we had of them battling each other just gives you what I said it on Threads. It just gives you a look at what 2022 took from us.
Yeah.
We could have had an insane championship battle between the two of them.
They know how to fight each other on the track with respect and
they're not pushing each other off. They're not
right.
causing damage. They're literally you could put a piece of paper in between their cars.
They know how to dance with each other on the track, and it is so well done. And it is some of the cleanest battles we have seen in recent years.
And we've been
between
deprived
Charles
of.
and Max. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, F1 going to the nose camera when Max was going to overtake Charles was the perfect point of view to watch.
Oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful move. Whoever's making those decisions, the camera director or whatever it is, great choice.
Yeah, we need more of that.
We need more of that. We need. It like sucks because it's like I didn't see Max for most of this race. Like Red Bull now is suffering because you're not seeing Max in a race because he's kind of like at least for China, he was up in fourth. He was in that 1-4 crowd that was away from everybody.
Yeah, there was such a big gap between the front and back.
And then you have Liam, who's in P19, P18, P20.
Barely finishing.
Right. And it's, all right, we're not really going to show him because he's not really doing anything like crazy. You get like glimpses of them, but not a whole lot.
It's not like 2023 where we didn't see Max and Checo because they were 30 seconds ahead.
So far ahead of you, yeah.
Yeah, like they weren't even in the battle. It's just they weren't fighting for any position this week until we saw Max and Charles, and then maybe Max trying to get George. But yeah, no, it was a whole lot of nothing, as you have pointed there.
Yeah, they're kind of just existing right now, Red Bull. We'll see if that changes with Yuki. If that happens, who knows? But yeah. So
yeah, we'll see. Ferrari.
Do you
I don't even know. Okay, well before the disqualification, like Lewis in the sprint, that pole and winning the sprint, was great.
Great, awesome, love to see it.
Because Lewis got that pole position and won that race on merit. Like he was not he clearly the McLaren's the fastest car on the grid.
Oh yeah.
I don't even think the Ferrari was the second fastest car on the grid. I think Mercedes might have been this weekend. So for him to get that and win was great to see. I loved it. He deserved that win. And then when we get to the race, Charles was just off all weekend, and it is known that that's not his. China is not. He's not a good track for him. It never has been, never will be. I don't think. But I do think it does go to say, with that broken front wing, the end plate coming off did not affect him at all. To the point,
it kind of helped him.
To the point, post race, he said, "So when did we change the front wing?" They're like, "We didn't." He thought they changed it in that pit stop at the beginning. The man just kept his head down and kept driving. That he thought they changed it. He was flying.
So I think the broken front wing gave him a little bit more downforce, I think.
Yes, and I think it helped.
Which allowed him to go a little bit faster around the opening turn and carry a little bit more speed in that sector. So it definitely helped him. He didn't get hindered by that happening whatsoever. But yes, it is unfortunate, and I am very confused as to what happened with the disqualification afterwards. And
specifically for him, you get
specifically for him. Lewis makes complete sense. Yeah, Lewis,
because it's happened to him already.
The fact that Charles and Lewis are now 2 for 2 on getting disqualified in the same weekend. Like,
did you see this stat? I think Patrick Passion posted this. So the COTA 2023, when they both were disqualified, it bumped Logan up to the points. Both disqualified, bumped Carlos up to the points. But then after COTA last year, when they were or 2 years ago when they were disqualified, next race they were both back on the podium. So like Japan, are they both gonna be back?
Are they gonna rebound? Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna rebound. No, I mean, I can read you the part from, I read it before, but I can read it again. So this is why Charles was disqualified. So it says, it was revealed that Leclerc's car weighed, this is from the F1 article. It was revealed that the Leclerc's car weighed precisely 800 kilograms. Stupid question. Am I saying that right? It's kg, kilograms?
Kilograms, yeah, kilograms.
Okay. The minimum weight required when he returned it to the pits post-race. So this was the first time it was weighed precisely after the race. It weighed exactly 800 kilograms. Given that his front wing was damaged in early contact with teammate Hamilton, Leclerc's car was reweighed with the retrieved end plate and then an official spare front wing, increasing the overall weight to 800.5 kilograms. So it literally was overweight by 0.5.
0.5. Which, this is what I don't get, and I'm posing this question to everybody in F1 threads and out there. Why would they weigh the car with a new front wing and then the broken piece? And my thought with this is, I would understand if they were like, hey, they told Ferrari over the radio, like, hey, Charles needs to change that front wing or else there's going to be a penalty for him. And they declined it. They refused to do it. Charles ran the whole race without changing the front wing. Those orders never came down. So Charles, from what we got from that, ran a completely legal race with that broken front wing. So why then, when he gets measured at the end of the day, is it, hey, let's add a new front wing on and then add the flex plate on top of that? Because then you're just guaranteed that it's going to be overweight and it's a disqualification.
Yeah.
So what's the reasoning there? Somebody please help me out.
Terry, I'll tag Terry on threads. He'll be able to explain it, I'm sure.
Please. Thank you for anybody who answers too.
We are fine on time-wise to get McLaren. I do want to talk about this. So there was all this discussion when Lewis came over the radio saying that he's like, I'm struggling. We need to swap, because Charles was coming and quick behind him. He was literally on top of him. So I know now, after what looked like posting this and other people, that if you watch Sky broadcast, actually for once, they were on the right side of the narrative.
Yeah.
They flat out said, this is Lewis's idea. And apparently Crofty was even confused, or Brundle was even confused to me. Like, why are he was like, why are they saying it this way? It was clearly Lewis's idea.
Yeah.
F1 TV and I think other broadcasts, F1 TV specifically, were like, and then when Lewis didn't change right away, they're like, oh, Lewis isn't listening. It's like team orders when you have to give in. It pissed Ferrari off to the point where Fred basically called out Formula One media post-race interview and they talked to him post-race as well, released a statement saying that's not what they've have ever tried to do, create a narrative, which I do want to call BS because, I mean, we've seen, did McLaren do that to themselves a little bit last year? Yeah, they did, but they didn't need to keep playing those radios last year with McLaren when we got papaya rules and the back and forth and the Lando do what's right for the team. They didn't need to do that. I do think Formula One, they're picking the radios for the TV, so clearly they want to give us a good show.
Right.
So
they're trying to give us a story, yeah.
Yes, so they want to create this narrative that Lewis and Charles aren't getting along, they're not respecting the team orders, this and that. Even when it's far, I didn't watch the post-race stuff because I went to bed. I normally would, but they interviewed Charles on F1 TV, and even there, it still made it. They never said, "Oh, it was Lewis's idea," and it didn't seem like Charles even knew then that it was Lewis's idea. So it is just annoying. But yeah, I mean,
it is weird to me, especially because I go back to the whole storyline last year of can Lando win, World Drivers' Champs and everything, where, now you have Hinchcliffe later in the year saying,
be like,
oh, yeah, we knew he wasn't catching it. We were just doing it up for TV, which is fine. That's fine. You can't just make a TV broadcast and just have it be like, yep, season's over. There's no chance of Lando winning and blah, 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 and all this stuff. But to purposefully, change what's happening in a race and broadcast that live to people, especially when you have Sky on the other side being like, no, this is this is Lewis's idea and they're gonna swap and everything, and he just hasn't had the chance yet. It is weird. It is it's a little odd.
No, it's very odd.
Yeah. Which again, I love TV. I'm all for being told a narrative and a story, which is fine. But sometimes when it's overdone in sports and in stuff like that, it is a hurtful thing. So it's don't make it a regular habit, please.
No, and not for the point with F1, even with Sky, you can go back and watch onboards.
Yeah.
So we could have heard Lewis's radio being like, "I'm struggling. We need to swap.
We need to swap." Yeah.
Yeah, you can't make up a fake storyline. If we never see those, yeah, I get it, but that's not.
Yeah.
We can easily see those, but
right, we can go back and, like you said, Lewis clearly saying, "I'm struggling. We need to swap."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, that was all for Ferrari, I think. McLaren.
I don't have a lot to say about this. I will say this. The stance that because I've seen it already starting on threads and starting on Twitter and everything too, this whole, Lando versus Oscar, blah, 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 all this stuff. The stance that I'm taking with it is competition is always good for the consumer. Mm-hmm. So I'm all in. I'm all in for the Lando Oscar fight.
No, give me Mercedes from
right. I'm all in for it because I think, and I said this to you, Casey, the other day. I think Lando and Oscar are on the same driver skill at a minimum. I think they are both very good drivers. I think they are equal driving skills, and I'm excited to see who wins the championship. I'm excited because I'm a McLaren fan. So if either one of them win the Drivers' Championship, great. Absolutely. But I don't want it to, what I'm really hoping it doesn't become is this Lando and Oscar hate each other. They're rivals. They don't get along. And then now this fight is kind of tearing their relationship apart and everything. And they're allowed to be rivals. They're on the same team together.
They're allowed to be healthy rivals.
Yeah. So that's where I'm standing with it. I am excited for it. I like it. There you go.
My question for you, when they came over the radio about Lando having the brake issues, did you start to get nervous?
I started to get nervous because the way that he was talking about it was, at first it was like, oh, the brake pedal's going a little bit longer. And I was like, oh shit, he's losing brake power.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there goes the race. If he can't brake, he's got to go slow.
Yep.
And then they were like,
George would have easily passed.
Yeah. And then they were like, well, no, you have full power. It's taking the brake dead zone, which is the amount that you have to press it before it starts taking effect, is getting longer. And I was like, okay. I'm like, that still makes it weird. And then I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, well, now he's got to completely adjust how he brakes because now he's got to take longer to brake than what he's used to. And then it seemed like it was going okay. And I'm like, all right, it's fine. 3 laps left, like whatever it is. And then I saw George's interval to him start dropping by like half a second.
Oh, it was quick.
And I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. So I'm very happy that he crossed the line in second. Yeah, I'm happy that he was able to get it home. And I think McLaren was absolutely right. And for once, they were clear with Lando on the goal has become – the goal has changed from you're not racing anymore. And the goal is just get the car over the line. Get the car over the line in second. And the fact that Lando was like, yep, cool. It's like, great, awesome, right call for McLaren to do that.
No, I agree. I will say, I also want to say this before we move on to IndyCar. I think we can. I know he was in clean air the entire time, Oscar, but I think we're gone. Gone are the days where we question Oscar's tire management.
Oh yeah,
because there are pictures of both sets of tires next to each other. Him and Lando's. Now Lando was in dirty air, and then he was having the brake issue.
Right.
There's a big difference. But
big difference. Yeah, I think that's kind of past now.
Yeah.
The Oscar tire management issues.
Yeah, but yes, that was China. It was a good race. It wasn't like too chaotic that at 3 a.m. I was like, it's hard to stay awake. Like it was like not too boring. There wasn't like a decent amount of action. But on to IndyCar, which was in Thermal this past weekend. Obviously, we mentioned this last week when we did predictions. Thermal is the one last year where it was just all up for money. It was $1 million challenge. Yep. There wasn't really fans there. It's like a country club, I think, or like I don't know. It's
like a private racetrack.
Yeah, it's a private racetrack. So it's technically a street course, but it's not like a normal street course, and it's not a traditional circuit like when they go to Barbara or Road America. But also not like I said, not like a normal street course like St. Pete. Like it's not normal cars on it every single day. So it's a cool layout. They're long laps. So it was less laps than when we were at St. Pete. But I was very shocked to see a clean start. Very shocked. Like
they
waved the flag. I was very shocked.
Highlighted that in the video I watched, and especially with that hairpin at the start with everybody, I was amazed to see the clean start. I was happy about it too.
No, when they made it to the hairpin, I was like, oh my god, I think it's gonna be a clean first lap. And it was. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think there was one. Well, obviously, halfway through the race, the Fox truck or whatever loses power. So the broadcast freezes. Next thing you know, you're going to a commercial, and then it bumps you over to NASCAR for a little bit, and then it like kind of tries to go back. And then once you're back, there's only like 16 laps left, I think. But I think even for that time frame when we didn't see the race on TV, I don't think there was any cautions during the entire race, which is pretty, I think, rare.
Pretty rare,
yeah. We did have contact at the start between.
This is great.
Yeah, I forget how you say his last name. Dev.
Scotty, why you look that up? Scotty Mack and Dev, whatever his name are.
It's Devlin DeFrancesco. His name.
They make contact in the. It's not even a formation lap. It's like the start lap.
It's like the warm up lap.
Yeah, they do 2 laps at the start for IndyCar, and then it's like that second lap is when they come in and they do the rolling start. And I think it was on that second lap that they make contact before the race even starts, and it's not even they make contact.
It's Dev literally turns into Scotty.
Yeah.
Which I watched the replay, he legit turns into him. I'm like, where do you think you're going?
It's pretty much his fault. Like all of his fault.
It's 100% his fault.
Yeah. And then it led to this confrontation.
Yeah, because they did both compete in the race. Scotty Mack ended up running dead last. He was 27th, and then they like retired him by the end. They didn't even make him finish. But yeah, then it led to this confrontation at the end with Dev and Scotty. And shout out to Indy for posting.
I loved it. IndyCar posted it. Yeah.
Social media. There was a lot of curse words. There was there was just a ton. They were going at each other, ready to. It was almost going to be like a NASCAR fist fight.
So I didn't know that contact happened when I first saw that video. And I was like, holy shit, I'm like, what happened here that like caused
Mhm.
this to happen? And then I listened to it and I was like, oh, Scotty Mac is telling him like that's why you gotta drive through. That's why you gotta drive through.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, so okay, so did Dev do something? So then I like found it and I watched it and I was like, oh yeah, like that's all his fault. And I was like, he was heated
He
for
was heated.
something. I mean, he came off of the pit wall and like walked over to Scotty Mac, who
Yeah.
Scotty Mac may have been saying something to him, but like to instigate it. But like the fact that Dev like climbed down and kind of like ran over to him, like I thought they were gonna throw hands for a second. I was like, what the hell is happening here? But
Well, you have Scotty Mac. Scotty Mac's not like crazy tall. Or was he a little bit taller than you? I
he was
think
yeah, a little bit taller than me, so like
then
maybe 5'10",
you have
5'11".
Dev, who looks like he could be in Andrew's family because he's like
Yeah.
super short.
It's like 5'5"
So,
or something like that.
Literally, Scotty Mac has to like bend down to point at him. But I just love Scotty Mac. Then posted. We all know he's an avid Twitter user.
Oh, he
Scotty
loves
Mac's.
it.
So this is Ryan Blaney, who's a Team Penske driver, posted the picture. It's obviously bleeped, like the curse words bleeped out, but it says, "You're so blank stupid, Scotty Mac." And it says, "When I don't give him a 2-foot gimme in our golf match Thursday." And then Scotty Mac retweeted it and said, "Be ready for it." And then another driver said, "You, when I forget to put ice in your nitro cold brew." He said, "Facts." So at least Scotty
It's
Mac, he knows it's nothing serious. It shouldn't
yeah.
be, but because obviously Scotty Mac knows it wasn't his fault. But yeah, it did honestly. They said he was running dead last because of he didn't qualify well to begin with, but I think there was damage on the car that they didn't fix, so he
Yeah.
was clearly running last the entire race. There was I have this noted, but now I can't remember. So maybe you, when you watched it, did you see stuff with Robert? Was there a penalty for Robert Schwartzman? I think they talked about it.
I
There
didn't
was
see anything for Robert. No.
he pulled into the pit lane and they put the tires on, and I think he thought they were all on, so he started revving his engine and then he stopped, and you're not James Hinchcliffe was like, you're not
Mm.
supposed to do that. So I think he could have gotten a penalty, but they also uh who's the other one? Callum Ilott like kind of made contact with someone. They posted a video today. It's from Will Power's point of view, where you see Callum Ilott, or maybe it's
Oh
Robert
yeah.
Schwartzman, like go up in the air a little bit. So
Yeah.
there was contact there, but like we said, you couldn't watch the middle of the race. So I mean, I could find out what's happening. You could listen to it on radio, I think, on Sirius XM, but don't have Sirius. But yeah,
Well,
most importantly,
before we get into this, because this led into it, and this may have been cut out from the power outage, but there is a amazing battle between Alex Palou
yeah,
and Christian Lundgaard leading into this, where Christian Lundgaard's running in second. Podium at that point was Pato, Lundgaard, Palou, and it is a 4-corner battle
yeah,
where every
wheel to
corner
wheel.
they trade positions, and it's a beautiful sequence of driving. It's almost like you're watching like one of those like really well done like one-shot takes in like a movie or a
Mm-hmm.
TV show, and you're like, wow, this is so cool that I'm watching this. It's all uncut and everything, and it's a great sequence of racing. Alex Palou does eventually get past Lundgaard because then he has this 8-second gap to Pato O'Ward,
Yeah.
and he makes it up within a fucking line.
It was like I feel like they cut to. I feel like on the broadcast they like it said he had 8 seconds. They cut to the commercial that came back and he was at like 4. And I was like,
Yeah. Well,
what the hell,
this is
really?
what. So I said this to you before we started recording. I said, I was watching the highlights of it, and they're showing this battle with Christian and Palou, and then it's like the battle kind of wraps up, and they're like, and here comes Pato O'Ward out of the pits. They're like, you can see he's got a great lead, like he's good, he's cruising, and then they like cut, and it's like lap. And I'm like, oh, what happened? Like, does Pato run off? Does something happen to Pato? Does he disqualify? Like, what
No,
happens?
he kept it clean.
Alex catches up. And then it literally goes like overlay, and it's like lap 56, and it's like, and Alex Palou is right behind Pato O'Ward. I'm like, oh, he literally just caught up to him. I was like, he just fucking raced his mind out and caught up to him.
I don't know if it was James. I don't know if it was Hinchcliffe or Townsend Bell on the broadcast. Is like, I mean, don't count him out. Like,
Yeah,
he's coming. Christian Lundgaard posted like the IndyCar highlight that they posted the video of his battle with Palou, and he literally put, he was like, he's like, I fucking love this sport. Like,
Yeah.
so he appreciated the battle. But yeah, Palou obviously gets Pato, like, last 2 laps, and it is a beautiful overtake, like, right past them.
Yeah.
Almost with, like, ease, it made it seem like. He gets the lead, and he ends up winning the race. So first 2 races are won by Palou. Pato did have some comments. I caught this on social media afterwards during the post-race
Yeah, I've seen
interview.
this pop up every once a little bit.
So we talked about this happened in St. Pete as well. Remember when it was Newgarden with, was it VK, Renus VK in front of him or something?
Yes.
And he
he
immediately let him by.
Yes, yeah.
But it was Palou before, I think, or it was Pato before, he wouldn't let him by.
Yeah.
Not Pato. So Pato said this thing, there are Chevy engines at McLaren, and he said how Chevy teams don't help each other, and it's very clear that the Honda teams help each other. So
yeah.
I'm thinking maybe what we didn't see with Palou is like we're the same with the teams with the same engine as Palou, helping him, giving him maybe a little bit of a toe, letting him by easily, instead of then if like Pato was coming up on the back markers and they were fighting him for a little bit because it's IndyCar. They don't get shown a blue flag and you have to immediately let them by.
Yeah.
You can get taken out by a back marker.
Yeah.
So that's maybe how Palou closed up the gap very, very quick. But yeah, it's those were Pato's comments, and he was in the post race, like sitting at the table comments. He was very annoyed.
Yeah,
Pato.
I mean, if it is, like I said, between St. Pete and not watching Thermal and everything, I don't 100% know, but like if it is as blatant as Pato is kind of saying it is, that Honda teams help each other and Chevy teams do not, at what point does IndyCar kind of like step in, or maybe the FIA steps in, because they're just like, hey, none of that shit, like, so. Interesting, but yeah, I mean, even from the highlights, watching the highlights of Thermal, it looked like a really good race. I'm kind of upset I missed it. So I am definitely going to catch the next one.
Next one's Laguna.
Yeah,
and it's a street race in California, and that one's always so good.
Yeah, that's like the Monaco of IndyCar, right?
Yeah, that's what they call the Monaco of IndyCar. It's the same day as Bahrain, so we might miss it by the time wherever we are. But
yeah,
no, it was a good one despite losing power. Did I like it today? Someone posted Mark posted the ratings or how many people tuned in to IndyCar. Did you see that?
I saw his F1 one, not his IndyCar one.
Or sorry, F1. Someone posted IndyCar because it also included all the NASCAR series, the Truck Xfinity Cup, and the normal F1, the drag racing, and IndyCar. IndyCar was dead last.
Wow.
Dead last. Now, F1 had over 800,000 viewers in the U.S. alone in the middle of the night, and I don't think that counts F1 TV.
Yeah, that was just ESPN ratings. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So that doesn't even count F1 TV. NASCAR went up against March Madness and had millions of viewers, like 1.2 million views.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And stuff. So they had a ton. It was overall a great weekend for McLaren, I will say. Yeah,
McLaren had a good weekend. I'm sure Zach Brown is thrilled. Monday and Tuesday.
Well, it could have been a 1-2 for IndyCar, too, if Palou didn't get him. Could have been 1-2, 1-2. I mean, it was 2-3. But when I posted that, it's a great weekend for McLaren. Someone said, and if you want to count the honorary McLaren driver, Kyle Lawson, who drives for them during the Indy 500.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize he does the Truck Series, the Cup Series, and the normal, top 3 in almost every single one.
Oh, good for him.
Maybe one multiple. So, yeah, it was a great weekend for McLaren. They're definitely happy with that. Do you have anything else? I don't think we have.
I got nothing.
I don't think we have. What's it called? Let me look.
How do we do with time? That's what I want to know. I mean, we're killing it on overall time right now.
So for F1, we went to full, maybe a little bit over. For IndyCar, we got to halfway. We got like 15
Nice.
minutes.
All right. I like it.
Okay, so we do have one question for F1 Threads.
Let's hear it.
It's from our good old friend Chris. He said, "What was the better race this weekend, Indy or F1?"
Oh, that's tough.
As Owen just said, I really didn't watch IndyCar.
Yeah, I didn't really watch it, but I don't know. I really don't know because IndyCar was, I think, an overall better race, but McLaren with McLaren winning, going 1-2 in China.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Indy because of the Ferrari disqualification. That couldn't affect me in IndyCar, so
Yeah.
I can't touch me there.
No, I'm gonna go IndyCar. The highlights were great. Watching the highlights was a lot of fun. So I'm gonna go IndyCar. That was a better race.
Yeah, that was a good race. But yes, that was all we have for you today. We did great on time. Hopefully, by the time this comes out, we will have an official word on if Yuki is driving for Red Bull in Japan. But by the looks of it, I have a feeling it's going to happen. Do you have anything else?
I got nothing. A whole lot of nothing.
We will be back next week, obviously with some predictions for Japan. And get ready, buckle up, because Japan starts a triple header. We go Japan to Bahrain to Jeddah.
Yeah,
boom.
It's a lot. It is a lot.
It's a lot. And with the way Ferrari fans, we'll be okay. We'll make it through.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But yes, so thank you so much for joining us for episode 101, as I would like to call this earlier. Dalmatians, 101 Dalmatians. Please give us a follow over on Instagram and Threads at Underground Circuit _. Over on Twitter at UG Circuit Pod. On TikTok, Underground _Circuit. Please go like, comment, subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. Like we said, we'll be back next week. And thank you so much.
Wait.
No, who's that from?
17 minutes ago, ESPN F1.
Yeah, I don't trust them.
I'm just saying. I'm just pointing it out. No, ESPN F1.
Motorsport posted it. I don't know if Autosport has yet, but they did the other day after the race. Something is in the works for sure.
Something's gonna happen, yeah.
Yeah, something is happening, and I think it's gonna be Yuki driving the Red Bull. But create a prayer circle, light some prayer candles. Yuki has a good race. Hopefully. Oh, no, not next week. 2 from now, we'd be celebrating a good Yuki race.
Yeah.
But
all right. Cool. Peace out,
people.
All.
See ya next week.